But as many as received him, to them he gave the power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. When they heard this, their minds went straight back to what we were just talking about. Yes, we were being brought in as children of God, but their theology was that these sons of God left where they were supposed to be and transgressed and came down to earth to a lesser form. This is also why it's so heavily emphasized that when Jesus became man, that he was fully God and fully man, because they believed that these other beings that were produced were half God or half man or 3/4 God. You know, they get into these weird ways of looking at it. And the author was, the Spirit of God was being clear through the author that God was not that. This was the Most High God. While he did take on human flesh, he was still fully God. He did not lose any of his divine attributes. So when it says he gave power to become the sons of God, it's saying that we are basically, when we are in him, walking in his Spirit, we are like those sons of God. The sons of God were supposed to, you know, in a way, watch over the nations and just make sure things didn't go amok, but the people started worshiping like they were the Most High God, or that they were the one in control, or that a popular belief was that, you know, well, there was a Most High God and he made everything and then he went to sleep, or he sat back in his armchair. That was a very common belief back then. So that's why, you know, in the Old Testament, you see something like the prophet Elijah and the prophets of Baal, and he mocks them and says, "What, is your God sleeping?" Because he knows that they think that Yahweh, the true Most High God, was sleeping. Now, there was other versions too, like, oh, he got mad and he destroyed humankind, and that's where you get all this craziness of these other gods that took control. But again, it's reiterated time and time again, they're not creators. They're created beings that are masquerading as ones that are better than that, essentially. So for us to become the sons of God is, again, it's basically taking on his divine attribute. This is also why in the Old Testament, when idolatry was slammed so hard by God, was because we were made in his image, to be his image bearers. And the idea of an idol back then was, here, I have this object, and I believe that my God is going to come down and inhabit this object, and if I don't have this object, then there's no place for God to be around me. And that's a direct affront to God, because he wants to be in us. We're the one who's supposed to be filled with him, and they're trying to control God and again, in another way, bring him down to their level instead of trying to follow him and come up to his level. So that is the way the ancient Israelite would have looked at this.